First service, we had a few sound system problems.
Oh, thank God.
Are we okay? Mike, you might want to turn his microphone down just a little bit. There you go. I'll just, for a sense of introduction, Mike is a friend of mine from many, many years ago. He grew up with my kids in Davenport and was a part of our youth ministry at Christ United Methodist Church, which was the church that I served while I was there. And it's good to have you, my friend. And if you would just be willing just to tell us a little bit more about yourself, your history, your family, that would be good to start.
Absolutely. As you said, my name is Mike. I was born in the Quad Cities. Started going to Christ United Methodist Church about 17. We're not going to go how many years ago that was. But I was about 17 years old, and I didn't necessarily start in church with the best of intentions or for the right reasons. But God definitely used them for that, and I got the chance to go to summer games that way. And
summer games, by the way, you may remember a couple of weeks ago we had Camp Sunday, and that was Mike had a chance to go to summer games when he was a kid, so it's something that we continue to hope to do.
A lot smaller back then. We had like 60 kids. Now there's like 700. So we've grown a little bit. Yeah. Really grew my faith in that church, and because of that faith and everything, I got to meet my amazing wife years later, and we have. She's a dental hygienist. She will not be working in the area unless she subs on possibly Fridays. She worked a little bit in Muscatine while we were there, and we discovered it was great to have her home with our kids because they're crazy. You'll get to know Lila quickly. She's our oldest. She's 5. She will do everything to get your attention. She will sing, she will dance, and she will be loud.
And Lila is starting kindergarten this fall. Right?
Yes, we do not know which school yet, but it is at Prairie. We just don't know which one. She will definitely be loud. I think she gets it from her mother. It's completely from me. Yeah. And then Carver's a little bit shyer. He'll probably run away from you. He's 2.5. He likes to climb and jump off of things, so if you see him standing on something really high in the church, please get him off before he jumps. That is your opportunity to go ahead and parent him and pull him down, because he sneaks away and climbs on everything. And then our last one is a tank. He's 7 months old and he's like 22 pounds. So he's a big one. That's Taylor. He's definitely going to be hopefully our lineman for Iowa, so I can get free tickets. So that is the goal.
Yeah. So you've already alluded to the fact that you were in Muscatine before coming in. Mike was the youth pastor at the Wesley United Methodist Church in Muscatine, there for a couple of years. So this isn't your first gig as a youth pastor, but can you tell us a little bit about how you felt the call to youth ministry and what that journey has looked like?
Absolutely. I thought pretty young that that's the path God wanted me to go down as I was going to youth group and I was building my faith. But I felt my call was more towards just coaching, just using coaching as my opportunity to. I think I was 20 or 21 when I started. I think I was 20. And I started coaching. I'm like, you know what? This is what my ministry is going to be. This is what I'm going to use for ministry. Is just getting to coach high school students, and I was excited for that. And then I had God keep nudging me. No, that's not enough. That's not. That's good. I want you to do that, but you got to go further. So I started looking into youth ministry, and years and years of trying to get into youth ministry, every job I applied for, it kept coming up second, kept coming second. And so I was starting a family. I was getting married, and it's like, okay, I got to get a real job. Can't just hope for this to come. And I got into carpentry. Mariah's dad owned a business in the Quad Cities. So I got into carpentry, which I did not like, but it made good money. And I went to work every day and did what needed to be done, and kept pursuing this, and it just kept coming up short. And right after I graduated from carpentry school, the apprenticeship, I got my journeyman card. And right after that, and I'd pretty much given up. I don't think I had talked about it anymore. My pastor in Davenport recommended me to Wesley United Methodist Church, and they called and wanted us to interview. And when the job offer came, I looked at my wife and said, okay, we're going to go. Can we go take a job where I'm going to make half the amount of money and probably do more work? And she kind of looked at me like I was nuts, but she trusted me and she trusted God and said, okay, we'll figure it out. Kudos to her. That it did work out, and we got there, and very realistic look when we found out there were 7 kids, and I was 7 kids away from not having a job. But we grew. We did awesome things there, and in 2 years we went from 7 to 30 kids. Mm-hmm. So awesome. Some great stuff.
So has it been what you expect, youth ministry or the ministry in general, but youth ministry in particular? Has it been what you expected? Has it been some things different that?
Well, his son-in-law Doug was youth pastor at Christ Church for a while I was there, and I always used to give him a hard time. I'm like, yeah, you probably work 20-30 hours a week, and that's about it. Yeah, I was wrong. You're on call a lot, and there's a lot of hours, which as a parent, those of you that have been parents, having the age kids we have, we don't sleep anyway, so it's okay. And you know, as much energy as it takes and things that it takes, I've never been happier, and I know that I'm where God wants me to be. My wife noticed it when we first got into ministry, that God was pushing us that way, and that's really been the driving force behind it. So the old saying, what is it? You'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's tiring, but I love it. I'm definitely glad God has given me the opportunity.
Awesome. Now you guys are living over in the parsonage across
Absolutely.
the street, correct? How's that been?
Awesome. We were downtown Muscatine in a rough neighborhood where we were living, and couldn't really let our kids go outside because our front yard was a parking lot that people tended to fly through and cut through. And now I think our kids have been outside more than they've been in, running up and down that hill, which thank you, because they go to sleep a lot faster.
One of the things I know about Mike is that his intention, and this is the way it should be for all of us, sometimes it gets really easy to think that it's just about us, it's just about our church. That is not Mike's philosophy for ministry. Obviously, we care about our kids and our students here at Shueyville, but we also believe that we are called as the church to reach out into the community, and one of his philosophies for ministry is to build relationships with people outside of the church. And he has alluded to the fact that you are a coach, and can you tell us through your coaching how you intend to build relationships in the school district and with other students?
Absolutely. I don't have a whole lot of experience with Prairie schools yet, but I did I was just offered the 7th grade football coaching job at Prairie Point, so I'm really excited about that.
And we only have 140 kids out for 7th grade football. Did you know that?
Only, yep. I don't know if there was 140 kids in our Muscatine program, so that's going to be interesting. But one of the things I learned with coaching and ministry is a lot of schools, it's really hard to get your foot in the door. It's really hard to go visit the kids on their birthday and bring them lunch. Because no matter how good your school's lunch is, it's nice every once in a while to get McDonald's or get Subway or get pizza or something. But with coaching, they get to know you, and it's a lot easier because people at the schools are like, they don't question, oh, what are you doing here? They know who you are. So it's nice to be able to bring kids that, and I always accidentally bring extra, so that way their friends can come and they can eat, and I can get to know them, and then their friends are comfortable and want to come sometime to youth group, and it's really been successful in that form, and getting to meet athletes and on their turf and where they feel comfortable, because they may not feel comfortable coming to ours, but going to meet them where they are comfortable is amazing. Jesus didn't spend all of his time preaching in the temple. He went to where they are, so I go to where the kids are.
Yeah. Obviously, even as a coach in the school, he can't go in there and preach a sermon or whatever. But here's the deal. It's always about relationship. Did you know that? It's always about relationship and meeting people and caring about people just because of who they are. And it's in the midst of relationship that you get to share who you are.
Absolutely.
So that is one of the things I want you to be praying for him and for the students of our church and for our community, that Mike intends to be out there, not just coaching 7th grade football, but going to concerts and tennis matches and all the different things that our students are involved in, because every one of those things you go to is an opportunity to be in a relationship, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you give us a little bit of a synopsis of your philosophy for youth ministry and how you see our youth ministry growing and evolving in the coming weeks and months and years?
Absolutely. I base a lot of what I want to do youth ministry off of Doug Fields. He was, many of you probably know who Rick Warren is. Doug Fields was Rick Warren's youth pastor. And one of the things they talk about...
Rick Warren is the author of The Purpose-Driven Life, by the way, and the pastor at Saddleback Church out in California, about 25,000 people.
So it's pretty small.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I think their youth ministry, when Doug was there, had 3,500 kids or something crazy like that. I don't know what I'd do. So, yeah, we'd have to figure that one out. But what they built was very, very simple. They built core students and built from there. A core student would be somebody who comes to church on Wednesdays, and I would like to see Wednesdays turn into a worship service, something that the kids can really call their own, with possibly a youth band, and develop a youth band, and see kids coming on that. And that would be your core student would be going there, and then on Sundays, hopefully see small groups at Sunday nights, where it'd be in people's houses, because there may be a kid that may not feel comfortable coming to Wednesday night and be like, I don't know about going to a church. But if you say, okay, we're going to go hang out at this person's house, and it's a group of 12 instead of 40, they may feel a little bit more comfortable coming to that first. And I'll give the people that do it, I'll give the people that do it the sheets that they can base off of from the sermon on Wednesday, that they can ask questions and dive deeper into it and learn more about that sermon. And of course, if you're one of the people doing those, kids, what they're going through in their real life definitely trumps anything I'll ever give you. There's nothing magic about the questions I give you. It's truly getting to know and care about the kids as if they're your own. We don't know a lot of the kids' situations in the community. They may look like they have everything together and their family's perfect, but it's not always the case. And if you just show that you care and you want to be there for them, the life that you get to, or what you put into their lives, is going to be an amazing feeling. And the core students would also be somebody that would go on a mission trip that I hope to have every year and go to camp. That would be your core. And then from there you have kids that necessarily don't come every week, but they come every once in a while. And then from there you have kids that are just visiting. And essentially your goal is to take the kids from the just visiting to the coming every once in a while to the core students. And as you do that and your number in the core grows, it just brings in more and more people to those events.
So you notice something about, if you're paying attention, about his philosophy for ministry. He believes that youth ministry revolves around three things. Worship. He wants to have worship service on Wednesday nights for students. Discipleship, small groups on Sundays. So if you'd like to be a small group leader, I'm sure you'd take them.
Absolutely. And you got homework already if there's a book that you got to read. So.
And number 3, service. There's mission trips and different opportunities to serve others and be in ministry with others. Now you may notice that's the same philosophy that we embrace as the larger church. We believe that as Christians and as adults, We are called to worship. We are called to grow in discipleship, to become more like Jesus, and to serve.
And by the way, we have the same philosophy for children's ministry. Children are called to worship. Children are called to grow in discipleship and to serve. Because it doesn't matter at what stage in life you are in, we all have the same calling: to worship, to disciple, to grow in discipleship, and to serve. We may do it differently because different ways of worship will speak to a child before it will speak to an adult. Same thing for students, same thing for adults. The philosophy is the same, the styles may be a little bit different, but that's what we're about. Now, we've had a history here at Shueyville.
As far you mentioned going on mission trips and things. You've taken mission trips from your previous churches. Do you have ideas for that here and things we might do?
Yeah, absolutely. The past 2 years we went to Lorain.
Lorain,
Ohio, sorry. Lorain County, Ohio. And Lorain was through a group called Next Step Ministries. And essentially, Lorain had a big setback. They were viewed as mini Detroit in 2008. They had 2 car manufacturers shut down and a steel plant. At one point, they had the highest or second highest unemployment rate in the country. So we went there to help out because a lot of the older generation lost their pensions and lost money. A lot of their kids moved away, so they didn't have help. So essentially, we went there to help them fix their houses because they were getting, or in one case, a garage, because they were getting fines from the city for stuff not being within code. And we're talking people that couldn't pay to have their house fixed, let alone a $150 fine every month or whatever the case may be. So we had that opportunity. And it was there that I actually finally got to see why God had put me through carpentry.
So you're saying maybe God had a plan?
Yeah, that's surprising, right? They had at Next Step, they didn't necessarily have people living in the community that knew anything about construction. And for those engineers in here and people that know construction, she was taking the measurements for a wheelchair ramp and rounding them up. So the angles don't work. So the blueprint was all way off, and I was like, okay, well, I guess me being dyslexic, I get to do math, which was fun. But I got it all figured out, and from being there, I got to fix it, and I got to do from the ground up building of it. And it was great because it was like, okay, now that's why you made me suffer through something I didn't like. You saved it for the point that now I get to use it for my ministry, which was an awesome opportunity to get to use and see work in Lorain. And I'm hoping with every year we can do one. My ultimate goal would be to see one every year, and every 4th year possibly go out of the country, because it's a whole different ball game, and it'll give every person that goes through their high school an opportunity before they leave to be able to say, okay, I went to Haiti, or okay, I got to go to Mexico or Belize or wherever the case may be, because as bad as we have it here, we don't really have a clue as how bad it is in third world countries. And in my opinion, I don't believe God sees borders. So,
we already talked a little bit about summer games. Do you have goals for that, for students to go to summer games, and how you plan that?
Absolutely. The goal in our youth ministry, I think, in my youth ministry at Wesley, one of the key things of our growth was from there, was from going to summer games. And I got to see us grow from 7 to 30, because our first year we had 1 kid go to summer games. And it's like, okay, well, that's a start. Now you need to tell your friends. The next year we had 8. I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. This past year we had 17. So the jump from year 1 to year 3 at summer games was huge. And you could tell the maturity in the kids, and the core students were really starting to develop. And that core group was getting bigger, which the bigger that core group is, the more people they can reach. Because like we talked about, it has a ripple effect of you have the kids that are doing that main ministry and doing the camp and coming back on fire and telling their friends, and their friends are telling friends. And it really is making disciples that way, between doing developing the core students and doing mission trips. It's doing what the United Methodist Church had in common for us, is to make disciples for Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world.
Is there anything, we just got a few more minutes left, is there things that you'd like to share that I haven't asked you about that you think people might want to know?
I forgot about Ben. Tell them
Oh,
about
yeah,
Ben.
tell 'em
Yeah.
about Ben.
One of the examples I have of how coaching and everything worked was we had a kid named Ben that I met in football. Very good kid. Became like a little brother to me. But it was through football he started coming to youth group. And then through that he started going every Wednesday. And then he started hanging out with me during the week, or we do special events. We didn't quite get to make the Sunday small groups because we didn't have enough volunteers. But we developed that relationship. He became a core student by going on all of our mission trips and going to all the camps. And he'd bring people in because he was an alpha male. So people tended to flock to him. So he would bring more people with him, and he'd keep coming. And with that instance, he grew spiritually. He grew through all the stuff he was going through. He had a lot of stuff going wrong in his life, and that gave him something to center himself on. Enough so that he's not the greatest athlete in the world by any means, but it gave him something to center himself on and get training and God and everything centered to. Now he just went to Cole's special teams camp this year, and he's ranked 23rd in the country at long snapper. So he's going to have an opportunity to play football at probably a really good college. Don't know where yet, but it was all because of building into that core and him bringing people and me having that chance to meet him on his turf at football. So that was an awesome opportunity, and that's what I hope to accomplish with coaching. So
Yeah, it's all about relationships again. It's not about him developing to a top 25 long snapper. It's about him developing into a man of God.
Absolutely.
Which wouldn't have happened had you not been out in the community, right?
Absolutely.
If there were some opportunities,
What are the opportunities for people volunteering for the youth ministry that you might want to share with people, if there's anybody here that might be inspired?
Definitely. Sundays, I'm hoping to have small groups at the homes. Like I said, we're going to need people that are willing to open their homes to their youth.